Imagine you want to watch a specific television series tonight. You type the name into a search bar, you click play, and the episode begins. For a moment, you feel a sense of ownership over that experience. But the reality is completely different. The exact millisecond your credit card is declined, or your monthly subscription expires, that series vanishes. You don't own the show. You don't own the platform. You are simply renting a temporary window of access. Now, scale this concept up. Take it away from a $10 entertainment expense and apply it to the foundational infrastructure of the global economy. Look at the monthly cash flow statement of a modern architectural studio, a massive engineering firm, or a global creative agency. On those spreadsheets, you will see the regular salaries of human architects, engineers, and administrative staff. But hidden between those lines is an invisible class of workers. Revit, AutoCAD, Twinmotion, Adobe. These are no longer tools that a company owns. They have become salaried digital employees, and they extract their paycheck on the first of every single month, without exception. But unlike your human staff, these digital workers possess a ruthless, mechanical negotiating power. Think about it. If your human staff gets paid a week late due to a banking error, the office usually keeps running. Human beings have empathy, tolerance, and flexibility. But if your digital employee is not paid the exact second its contract renews, the entire production line freezes. You are instantly locked out of your own workflow. This was not merely a technological transition. It was also a fundamental financial restructuring of the software industry. To understand this restructuring, think about traditional banking. If a construction company takes out a loan to buy a heavy bulldozer, they make monthly payments covering both the interest and the principal debt. After 5 years, the debt is cleared, and the company fully owns the bulldozer. The software subscription is a brilliant mutation of this banking system. Economically, subscriptions resemble an interest-only obligation that never reaches ownership. You pay the interest every single month, but the principal debt never decreases, and ownership is mathematically impossible. To understand how we lost the concept of digital ownership, we must look at the historical roots of computing. Computing began as rented computation. Personal computers briefly shifted power toward ownership, but cloud computing shifted it back toward rented access. In the 1960s, ordinary businesses couldn't afford massive, multi-million-dollar IBM mainframes. Instead of buying hardware, they utilized the time-sharing model, paying a fee for every hour of computation used. You own nothing, you only leased capability. The era that most of us remember fondly, the 1990s and 2000s, where you bought a heavy software box, inserted a CD-ROM into your computer, and owned that program forever, was actually a brief historical window where the consumer held the leverage. For decades, software was a fixed asset, a capital expenditure, known in finance as CapEx. You bought it once, and it sat on your company's balance sheet just like a heavy oak desk or an industrial printer. It depreciated over time, but it belonged to you. The great shift, the moment the industry's business model fundamentally changed, happened around 2013. Adobe discontinued perpetual licenses and transitioned its customers to Creative Cloud. To be fair, the old licensing model also created serious limitations that modern software could no longer ignore. But they were not alone. This became the industry standard across the board. Microsoft 365, Autodesk, Oracle, Salesforce, SAP. The entire software industry gradually pivoted toward recurring subscriptions. Everyday consumers and professionals revolted, but Wall Street reacted with pure financial euphoria. Investors responded extremely positively over the following years. Why? Because financial markets despise unpredictability. Let's explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine you own a bakery. If you sell a beautiful, expensive cake to a customer today, you make a great profit. But tomorrow, your cash register is empty again. You have to hope another customer walks in. This is called cyclical or transactional revenue. In the old days, software companies would release a fantastic program, make billions of dollars, and then starve the next year because nobody felt the need to upgrade. Financial markets dislike unpredictable revenue. Wall Street loves annual recurring revenue, or ARR. Predictable recurring revenue doesn't just increase profits, it reduces uncertainty. Lower uncertainty means higher company valuations, easier access to capital, and more aggressive acquisitions. If a company sells software in boxes, the market might value that company at 3 times its annual revenue. But if that exact same company switches to a subscription model, the market may value it at significantly higher revenue multiples. Every recurring subscription strengthens a company's economic moat, a concept popularized by Warren Buffett. The harder it becomes to leave, the more valuable the business becomes. Let's look at the rational math of this transition. In the past, an engineering firm might buy a permanent software license for $3,000. That was a one-time hit to the budget. They could use it for 6 years without spending another dime. Today, they might pay $100 a month. It looks cheaper at first glance, but over those same 6 years, they will pay over $7,000. And at the end of year 6, they still own absolutely nothing. More dangerously, this digital debt requires collateral. If you default on a traditional loan, the bank comes and tows your physical asset away. But in the cloud-based subscription economy, the collateral is your own history. In many cloud-based ecosystems, losing access to the software can severely limit your ability to continue working with your existing projects. Closed file formats and ecosystem-specific workflows can dramatically increase switching costs, making it economically difficult for customers to leave. Imagine you are an architecture firm. Every project from the last 15 years exists in one proprietary ecosystem. Every employee knows the same shortcuts. Every complex automation script was written specifically for that software. Every consultant exchanges files in that exact format. Technically, you are free to leave. Economically, you are not. That is vendor lock-in. Freedom still exists. It has simply become too expensive to exercise. The financial and operational cost of retraining your staff and rebuilding your workflow is so astronomically high that staying and paying the ongoing subscription becomes your only rational choice. You are geographically, operationally, and financially locked into the ecosystem Tollbooth. However, to be entirely objective, there is a cold, mechanical rationality to this system. If we had remained in the era of the CD-ROM and the perpetual license, the modern digital infrastructure would have struggled to evolve at today's pace. A one-time payment of a few $100s cannot financially sustain what we demand today. Today, we demand real-time cloud collaboration across continents. We demand heavy AI-integrated workflows. We demand complex computational modeling that doesn't just rely on our local computers, but connects to massive, multi-billion-dollar server farms running in the background. Software is no longer a static product inside a box. It is a living, breathing infrastructure that requires thousands of engineers working around the clock just to maintain security and stability. The old perpetual license model could never fund the colossal research and development budgets required to build the future. The cost of technological evolution required a constant, predictable stream of capital. The subscription model is simply the price of acceleration. You no longer own your tools. You lease access to a constantly evolving digital infrastructure. The product is no longer the software. The product is continuous access. Ownership generated one transaction. Access generates infinite transactions. It is a brilliantly designed, completely unavoidable ecosystem Tollbooth. This is Project Saway. We dissect the mechanics, subscribe, and stay analytical. Until the next case study.